perspective, and this is just unbelievable. Apparently, Jussie did a dry run of his attack.
Jussie Smollett was allegedly seen on video conducting a dry run of his attack the day before it took place, further lending credence to the prosecution's claims that he orchestrated the whole thing. During opening arguments on Monday, Special Prosecutor Dan Webb told the jury that Smollett was upset that a threatening hate letter that was sent to the studio behind Empire wasn't taken seriously enough. As a result, Webb is hoping to convince a jury that the actor hired brothers Abimbola and Olabinjo Osundairo to attack him. One potentially damning piece of evidence teased during Webb's opening arguments was that there is surveillance video showing Smollett and the two siblings, who he worked with on Empire, doing a kind of dry run of the attack in the area the day before it allegedly took place.
A dry run.
The prosecution will allege what the Osundairo brothers have already told investigators, that they were cut a check for $3,500 after the dry run and given $100 in cash to get supplies to stage the attack at Smollett's behest. Meanwhile, defense attorney Nenye Uche said the two brothers attacked Smollett in January 2019 because they didn't like him, and that the check the actor paid the men was for training so he could prepare for an upcoming music video, not as payment for staging a hate crime.
Yeah, they said that the payment was for something else, not, the alleged hate crime. But they have on video a dry run. How dumb can you be?
That's crazy.
They were in the area doing, acting it out, what they were going to do.
Crazy.
So case done. Case closed. Over. A dry run of the whole thing. What?
Why do you think he did this? What's going on in his mind? Did he need, I don't know, more media attention, or he wanted to be in the spotlight?
I think around that time there was a lot of...
He going through something mentally?
What's going
on for you to
there was
come up with this plan?
Well, they say that the men had MAGA hats and all this. There was a lot of, media attention on hate crimes.
Right.
At that time.
Yes.
And I think he wanted to... Lee Daniels kind of dubbed Jussie Smollett. They said that he's just so important to the LGBTQ community. He kind of represents very important. He's beloved. He's beloved.
Right.
He's an African-American gay actor, and he was basically an example, and he was beloved. I mean, by everybody. Empire was a huge show. Huge.
It was.
I liked him. I thought he was great in the show, and then all this came out, and it was almost like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was almost like he wanted to, with all this being fake, people feel for him. I mean, I don't know. Everything was going so well, but because of the media attention and wanted people to hate even more, hate MAGA even more.
Jeez.
I don't know. You see what I'm trying to say?
Now, what happens next, though, with his career, with him tarnishing this?
Who knows?
Will he face fines? Probably not jail, then community service.
Probably fines and community service.
Why? Why do all this?
But the whole staging. And the other thing is that he has stood behind that he's innocent this whole time and gotten pissed off about it. And getting pissed off about it.
I know. He's still continues
stop it
with
already.
The same story.
Stop it already.
He said it on the stand.
Now, some very sad news from Nick Cannon.
Yeah, this is sad.
I just couldn't believe this when I heard it. Nick Cannon, he has this talk show, and he went on, and this is kind of lengthy. But we'll just start off by playing it. Here we go.
Today is a special one, y'all. It's for many reasons, but it's not going to be an easy one. Because I got so much to talk about. I actually haven't even shared this with anybody, really. I mean, not even, the crew. I came in, today is kind of quiet. And just because there's, so much going on in the world, and I had a tough, very tough weekend. But it's before I even get into why, I always, we go to the pick of the day. And I got to show, this is the pick of the day of my youngest son, Zen Scott Cannon, right there.
I've never seen his talk show.
Me either.
He gets like real emotional.
So, probably before the show started in the summertime, Zen was born in June, on June 23rd, actually. And, it was a great day. Obviously, y'all know I got a lot of kids. and Zen's my youngest, and it was so exciting. And I did the introducing Zen photo, and so during the summer it was really exciting. But I always noticed, like, as he got 1 month was great. By the time he got 2 months, he was just like the most loving. We called him Z chillin'. He was just always smiling, always having just the most beautiful spirit. But I always noticed he had like a little, to me, it felt like a sinus thing. It was like a cough. And I just wanted to check it out. Sometimes early on we thought, because babies get fluid in their lungs and stuff, so we thought, he'll cough it out, and that's what they would say. But he always had this real interesting breathing. And then, by the time he was 2 months old, I noticed, he's just the cutest little boy. I had these, big eyes. And I also noticed, he had, a nice-sized head. He had, I call it a cannon head. All my kids got really nice, round heads, rock, roll, golden. Everybody had, even me, I had, a real, Cabbage Patch Kid type of head. So we didn't think anything about it. He had a normal cannon head. But I really wanted to, take him to the doctor to get the breathing and the sinus things checked out. So we thought it would be, a routine process. And we went in just to check his sinuses, and they actually said his sinuses were pretty cool. But then by that time, we found out that he had another condition. And I think it was called, if I'm not mistaken, but it was where it was fluid that was building up in his head, and that was the cause of his head was starting to get big. And when we found out it was more of they called it a malignant tumor in his head. And so immediately we had to have surgery, it was brain surgery. We put a shunt in his head, and we were hoping for the best. And, the shunt would go down, it was like a tube that would go inside and drain all of the fluid out, so his head would be normal, and he would be able to function. But then the doctors were concerned, and when I say I have to thank all of the doctors at the Children's Hospital of Orange County, CHOC out there. They were beautiful nurses, the people, Trinity, the hospice care, all of those people. They've been and they were really educating and kind of letting us know everything that was going on. So we were faithful and hopeful for that time, and then it was carried on. He was still just playing with all his brothers and sisters. We got to get an opportunity. I embraced every moment because of, something like that. That was even them, with all the other kids. And, I just got an opportunity to try to spend as much time. And I really want to say I'm so grateful to my entire family for coming together during this time and being so loving and not judgmental of me or any of those things.
Again, you're checking out Nick Cannon, his message yesterday, or the other day. It was posted yesterday up on his YouTube channel, talking about his youngest son.
Never had an argument, never was angry, was emotional when she needed to be, but was always the best mom and continues to be the best mom possible. So I got to say thank you to my entire family, but specifically to Alyssa. And Thanksgiving, because up until then, he was just like all my other kids, just loving and fun. But Thanksgiving, we had a interesting turn, and the process sped up, and ultimately, if anybody knows how cancers work, it was cancer in the brain. And the tumor began to grow a lot faster. And so we knew that the time was so this weekend, I made a valid effort to spend most quality time I could spend with Zen. And we woke up on Sunday. Got to spend, the weekend with them, spend the night, and we woke up on Sunday, and I was like, I just feel like I want to go to the water, and close to the ocean, and we kind of got a chance to go to the ocean. And usually on Sundays, I kind of handle everything I had to handle with the family, and then I fly back to New York. I rush back so I could be here for you all. And so, but I wanted to make sure that, I had allowed the sun to rise and, kind of hold my son. And in the having the last, holding my son for the last time. But it was a beautiful setting and even to spend that whole day. It was interesting because even as I was holding him, I was still preparing my day as it normally went to come back and, come here and still, I didn't know what it was going to be, but even by the time I got in the car and was headed to the airport, I had to turn around. And I turned around and not only did we get to see the sunrise, but we got to see the sunset too. And I didn't know how I was going to handle today. I didn't know how, but I just really wanted, I wanted to grieve with my family. You know what I mean?
I don't know how he's doing it, like on TV like that.
People who love you. Love you too.
So thoughts and prayers going out to Nick Cannon. I mean, very, very sad. Watching that for the first time yesterday was just
so sad.
Heartbreaking. So very, very sad. Nick Cannon's youngest child passing away. Just unbelievable. So again, we send our condolences and our thoughts. Just awful. 7:24.
Time now for Power 101.7 traffic.